Let's get this meeting started. I would like for Assistant District Governor Joe Goralka and also our Rotary Foundation Chair, Joe Goralka, to introduce our honored guest today.
Well, hello, everybody. It's my honor to introduce my friend and our district governor, Gregg Guisiana. Gregg has been a Rotarian for over 20 years, serves twice as assistant governor and twice as lieutenant governor, and he still has many positions on several district committees. Gregg is a member and past president of the Gilroy Rotary Club, and he likes to have fun even though he can be a bit serious. At his first club meeting, his team all wore Marx Brother glasses, compete with the big nose, bushy eyebrows, and mustache. He's a recipient of the Richard D. King Award and the Sidney R. Mitchell Award. And for those that don't remember, the Sidney R. Mitchell Award is named after our first district governor and presented to the most outstanding Rotarian. And the Richard D. King Award is named after our 2021-22 RI President Rick King from our district, and presented to the Rotarian who makes the greatest personal commitment to the programs of Rotary. Gregg is well known for his presentations at our Far West Pets President-elect training seminars, and Seth, I believe, has seen his presentation.
Yes.
I don't know if he'll talk about it, but if he doesn't, ask him about it because he saved a life. Gregg is a longtime resident of Gilroy. Among his many community activities, past president of the Garlic Festival, past chair of the Chamber of Commerce, and was selected at as Gilroy's Man of the Year in 2015. Gregg, now the serious side, Gregg worked for the Gilroy Police Department for 34 years, the last 10 as chief of police. Gregg is currently vice president of the Academy of Services at the South Bay Regional Public Safety Training in San Jose. He has a master's of public administration from San Jose State University, which happens to be my alma mater rival. So I'll say, go Spartans, go Broncos. Gregg and his wife, Chris, a Morgan Hill Rotarian, have 3 grown children and 3 grandchildren. Gregg joined Rotary as a career move, then stayed for the fun. Gregg's theme for this year is Make Membership Meaningful. I give you our district governor, Gregg Guisiana.
All right.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Joe. You really got to cut that down when I'm meeting with the boards. So the purpose of this meeting really is not for me to talk to you, but it's really for you to kind of give me information about what the club's doing, what the issues are, and if there's anything that the district can do to help. Your club is really a well-run club, and you do so many things well that I don't know that there's anything I'm going to give you as far as advice on how to run a club, because you do so well in all of these things, and you've been doing that for many years. So I'm here to listen for a while, and then we can move on to the regular meeting. So I'll start with you, Seth. I'll let you.
Okay. Well, glad that you could come and be with us. And actually, you switched dates for us because we had to switch out because last week he was due to be here last week. And as everybody knows, last week we did it on our Civic Thursday meeting on Wednesday, which was a little bit out of the ordinary. But Gregg, I think you joined us then too, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I got this. The first 5 meeting was one.
First 5 meeting that we have. That's one of the highlights of our year so far. It's meeting with the first 5. We try to do something about our meetings to jazz them up because we're in this COVID area and we have to do everything virtually. And so for that, I'll switch to one of my first objectives was to get the meeting speakers up and how we're doing everything. I'll go to David Stein, our chair of our speakers committee, and he'll tell you about
President Seth, I didn't know you were going to start with me. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me get focused here. Hi, Gregg. It's nice to see you after all those days we spent behind the curtain together. Congratulations on being the DG.
Thank you.
So our speakers committee, was doing a great job, and with President Seth's leadership and help, we've really been able to reach out we've set a goal to really have high profile speakers is one of our goals. The second goal is to have speakers that are both men and women, and also to have a diversity of having speakers of color. And then finally, we have a goal of having programs that reinforce our commitment to social justice. So just to give you some idea of how we're doing, we've had from the entertainment industry, Dwayne Wiggins from Tony. We've had the president of the San Francisco Federal Reserve. We have the speaker today is a professor from Stanford who's internationally known on democracy around the world. We've had Arabella Martinez, who is a local leader in the Latino community and was in the housing and urban development in the federal government. We've had Congressmember Barbara Lee. We've had nearly an equal number of men and women speakers. We've had about as many people of color as we've had white speakers, and more than half of our programs have either been focused on or have a significant component relating to social justice. And part of that is that President Sess is focused on the homelessness issue, and we've had a series that were put together, we're in the middle of, on speakers relating to the homelessness crisis in our community. So I think we're on track. We're doing a good job, and having a great programs for our members.
So hopefully that showed you kind of how we're approaching it to try to jazz up the meetings since they're all virtual now. And any help that you can give us in this realm, we'd ask for that. That you could help us out in thinking about what we can do as far as meeting with the other clubs or different speakers that other clubs may have had.
Yeah, there is a speakers bureau on the district website. And if you have speakers that may be interested in speaking to other clubs, you could put the information up there so they could tap into those speakers. Also, if you're looking for ideas, there may be someone there that will help you. I love the fact that you're streaming these out so wide. I mean, you have such a huge audience that listens to your programs. I know that they have an impact. So thank you.
Do we have Isaac, Pat, or not? Isaac, he could tell a little bit more about how we have it spread out to all our communication chair.
No, Isaac's not on this call.
Okay.
Allison may be able to say something about it too. She's quite involved with communications.
Allison, why don't you go next then? Because she has community service as well.
Thanks, Dudley. I'm not really on the committee, but as a former communications chair, I've been kind of keeping an eye on it just to, pitch in and help where I can. And I can tell you that they are streaming. I've heard in our first 5 call when we had our breakout groups, I heard from somebody in Santa Cruz who's been watching the speakers and is really impressed with the fact that we are streaming. So so David, the programs are going wide and far. And oh, by the way, welcome, Greg.
Thank you.
And they were pretty active on Facebook and LinkedIn and various social media. And they are gaining a little bit more traction every week. They have a good committee with people very active in all kinds of areas. And Pat, you probably know more than I do about.
If I may just quickly, yes, as you said, we're on, this is the strongest and largest communication committee in the 6.5 years I've been with the club. They're posting not only on Facebook, but also on LinkedIn and Instagram. And as Allison said, our reach is getting broader. The other thing that we're doing besides streaming, we're also keeping recorded versions of our meetings in 3 different places. We have them on YouTube, Facebook, and also they're now on our website. In the news section of our website, we were not doing a very good job of keeping that filled, but we are doing that now. We have a member who's posting our meetings and also posting our weekly newsletter on there. So again, they're doing a great job.
Allison, why don't you carry on about the community service, what we're doing there?
And Dudley, feel free to jump in and correct me if you need to. I know that we've awarded two grants this year. Our grants are focused primarily on Oakland, how the organizations are serving Oakland. They're generally in the amount of up to $5,000. We've awarded to the Veterans Media Network, who does a show called Stand Up or Stand Alone, I think. That's not right. I'm not saying that right. But it's a regular production, monthly production. It's like a meeting hall for veterans, and they're also supported by the Veterans Administration. There's another group called Beyond Emancipation that helps foster kids transition into permanent housing. And we awarded them a grant for move-in kits, like masks and hand sanitizer and, comfortable sheets and robes and sort of basic things to help them get started. Thanks to CJ for bringing them to us. Our Feed the Hungry program, as of December the 4th, had raised $16,575 in about a 10-minute period, I think, and which is pretty wonderful, championing of our club. This year we're having Nikki Shaw as the host for that. So last year we had the very popular Tanya Holland. So we'll see how we do this year. It is scheduled for December. I forget the exact date. David, do you know?
Pat would know that.
December 3rd.
December 3rd.
We also this is something that I think is going to be possibly really helpful if we can nail down the process. We've been talking about enabling our nonprofit members to be able to post on some kind of a bulletin board or somehow when they need volunteers, because we normally do 4 service days for our community. Big groups go in and help worthy causes like the food bank. We had at least 20 people, I think, for that one, where we packaged up thousands of dollars worth of food that go out to that are distributed by the food bank. This year we haven't come up with the right fit because of COVID for these service days. So we're thinking of having our nonprofits be able to post when they need volunteers for something. There's, as you can imagine, a lot of discussion about that so that we can make it fair and useful and not confusing.
And tell her about our mural project as well.
Okay.
Get to that one.
Eddie just approved grants for City Slicker Farms and for the Dragon School, which is a very popular local group that does murals all over town. And our committee, I guess that you would call it, that Seth appointed, which includes me and Tom Lamone and Brad Howard from the Uptown Club, are developing with 2 people from the Piedmont Montclair Club a Peace and Unity mural. It's about our diversity builds us strength and unity, and we instigate peace. I guess I'll say it that way. And that's the purpose of the mural. We're in the still very early development stages, but it's quite exciting. It's going to be high visibility for Rotary. And do you need me to say?
And it's part of our collective work that we're doing with other clubs in the area, our Area 1 clubs. So it's part of the effort that we wanted to try to do to make sure that we were working with the other clubs.
And they're getting financially as well.
Yes. Yes. Okay, let's move on to another one of the ones. Who am I picking out here now? Mr. Holmgren, Kinder Prep. Why don't you tell us about that?
All right, you bet. So the Kinder Prep program has been in existence for about, I'd say, 6 or 7 years now. I see Peter's on this call. You might be able to correct me on that. We support underserved transitional kindergarten children in the Oakland Unified School District. Historically, that's taken the form of providing gift cards to teachers to supplement classroom supplies for things that the school does not provide, providing funding field trips to the zoo, to Fairyland for the kids to go and see those two places. Also providing classroom volunteers. We have a handful of people on our committee who, and not on the committee, who have served in classrooms helping teachers out. That obviously is not happening this year, not yet, and not directly as yet. And then periodic other things like fulfilling special needs that teachers have in their classrooms. This year, we've had to adjust a little bit in what we've done. This coming Tuesday, we're going to be meeting at the club office to pack virtual learning kits for all those kids. So there's about 600 kids that we'll be packing kits for, and the teachers will be coming to pick up those materials, or we'll be delivering to them, as the case may be. We've also ordered gift cards for them a little earlier than we normally do in order to provide them with funding for things that they have discovered they need in this virtual learning environment. So that's another thing. And we're starting to experiment with the tutoring that we used to do, doing it virtually as opposed to in classroom. I did a little pilot thing with my class at Reach Academy last week, and went reasonably well, except that then the teacher resigned later that week from his position. So I don't think there's a direct causation there with my volunteer effort and that, but that remains to be seen. I've had my lawyer working on that. But anyway, we are looking for other ways to support the school and the kids in the form of a virtual library for kids of that age, so that kids can access reading materials, and their families can, without having to go to libraries and worrying about all those things. So we have a lot going on this year, but in a different level than what we're used to.
Very good. Thank you so much. Peter will tell you about our homeless initiative that we're talking about. Peter. Are you there, Peter?
Yeah, I'd stepped away from my microphone. Hi, Greg.
Hi, Peter.
So there's about 50 members of our club are concerned about the homeless situation. I know that David, and so we have a group of people who are open to ideas from club members, and we currently have 2 ideas going. David Stein's on the call. He can talk a little bit about the help and assistance we're giving to Beyond Emancipation, who are building a living situation for young people who have just left the foster care system, especially young people who already have children of their own. And then we have another group who are working on developing what they're calling the Oakland Community Neighborhood. And the concept is to find a plot of land that we can get from the city or from the county without any cost, using FEMA trailers to actually create a village for probably young families with around 50 trailers, and try to put together a village where there is greenery and an actual, like a kibbutz. That's the idea. This is a huge effort. It is got many pieces that all have to fall into place. We had a meeting this morning where 2 pieces of property were identified as potentials, and that now we're going to do some further investigation as to whether or not that property is available, whether or not it's appropriate for this sort of situation. They have the interest of the city. They have the city homeless czar who's working with them. Representative Barbara Lee knows about it. She has already indicated that she can arrange for these FEMA trailers. We are considering for the water and sanitation part of this project, we would actually obtain a global grant and do a global grant here in Oakland and obtain resources from other clubs from both around the world and around the region to provide some of the infrastructure. So that's the concept. Whether it'll happen, I don't know. It's probably the single biggest project the club will have ever taken on. But if it succeeds, it'll really be a signature and also a potential model.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to try to make it happen. Rania, why don't you tell us about World Community Service and what we got going?
Yes, do you want me to comment briefly on the Beyond Emancipation?
Oh, yes, yes. I'm sorry. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, so Beyond Emancipation, one of the many things they do is provide services in traditional housing, transitional housing for youth going out of the foster care system. They have been renting a home in East Oakland that serves 5 young women who have children of their own as a transitional housing with support services. That home is coming on the market. The people they're leasing it from are selling it. So we've been providing them with basically technical support in terms of evaluating the values of it. We've had a real estate broker involved, looking at other market conditions and helping them develop a plan. It looks like what they're going to do is partner with another operator who would probably wind up being the owner of the property, and they'll continue to operate it. And so we're continuing to consult with them and also looking at it as an opportunity for kind of hands-on partnerships down the road. So that's that piece of the homeless.
Thank you, David. I'm sorry I cut you off and I didn't allow you to say that one as well. Rania, it's time for World
Awesome.
Community Service.
Good afternoon, everyone. So happy to see you all. Greetings, District Governor Gregg from Carl Stuckey World Community Service. And just want to also say that my co-chair, Phil, he's online too. He wasn't sure if he was going to be able to join us, but Phil is also my co-chair. And so we've just been really getting busy already. Just a quick overview. Last year, we were able to fund 9 grants through World Community Service. 4 of them were global grants. 5 of them were cash grants, totaling a little over $85,000 that came directly from our club. I tried to put together a complete tally of the overall budgets of the projects that we funded, and it was close to $1 million last year. We did projects in India, we did projects in El Salvador, Guatemala, around water filtration, around sanitation. We helped right after in the Bahamas, we helped send water filtration devices there right after the hurricane, which was an immediate need. We helped fund vision equipment in Medellin in Colombia. And we also helped with some infectious disease screening in Ecuador. And so last year we were really busy. We're excited, Phil and I, for the year ahead. We just met this morning to kind of get our agenda together, and we're already up and running and just moving along. We already have allocated money to feed families in Honduras. That was in collaboration with our clubs in Concord, as well as Mount Diablo Club. That was something that we just helped send $1,000, which is going to feed, I think $50 feeds a family of 4 for a month. And so, I mean, it was just amazing. Where our small dollars can just make such a big impact, and so that was something that we did. We also, as you know, District Governor Gregg, tonight we're excited. You're going to be joining in with us as well. This is going to be kind of a cool thing. We're going to be taking part in the Queen's Bombay Club in Mumbai, India. We help give a small donation, but we're their international partners for some screening equipment for women and for their reproductive systems. So that's just an exciting thing that we're going to take part in tonight at 9 o'clock. And so that's a beautiful thing. And we've already also have other requests in, probably going to be doing some work, sending some lanterns, some solar lanterns over to Lebanon, because, just in Beirut and what they're dealing with. So just really trying to spread our wings. And I'm excited to share with our committee the virtual project fairs. I think that's going to kind of help steer our year ahead. We have some potential grants on the table, but just, the part of making this, overreaching and just, even the more impact is the collaborations with our clubs, both here locally and abroad. So we're going to be sharing the virtual project fairs that are coming up in October and November with our members, and just hope we could find some good projects to support. And just looking ahead, and like Peter said, hopefully we'll be able to support the project that they're dealing with the homeless, and just help support some things in our backyard. We haven't done a global grant focused here in Oakland, so I'm excited to see how that's gonna shape out. But other than that, we're just excited to be involved and do good in the world, and just put more collaboration within our clubs, because a lot of times smaller clubs don't have the wherewithal to do the global grants. And so we're just hoping to partner more with those clubs and able to bridge our finances together and our funding.
That's what we're doing, Greg. We're coming short on our time here, but I wanted to give you the opportunity to respond back to all that we're doing here.
Well, I love all that you're doing. I know I had talked to Peter last year about the homeless issues that you were working with, and I love that you took it on, and it's carrying into your stuff. And I know that you talked to me about that, about the carrying on of these issues as opposed to just letting them drop. And, you're not letting them do that. Your club is incredible. You do incredible amounts of work all over the district. And as large as you are, you still help out the smallest clubs in your area. And I love the fact that you do that. This club is running so well and doing so well. And I know that probably you don't think so from the inside, but from the outside, you look like you're doing a wonderful, wonderful job. So that's my input for it. You just keep up that great work that you've been doing.
We'll be coming back to you, Greg, for help that we need out of the district for certain things. We have to make sure we're clear on what it is, but we'll always come to you for some help. And Joe, you can help us out with doing that, being assistant district governor for our clubs here in Area 1. If you got anything to say, and also as your position as TRF chair.
I guess I just quickly say, as Rotary Foundation chair, Greg, the bar was set fairly high. Last year, we were #1 in the district in annual giving, although we were actually a little behind what we had raised the year before. And being #1 in annual giving in a district that was #1 in the world in total giving, that was quite an accomplishment. We got a great committee this year. Why we raised lots of dollars last year, our participation wasn't quite where we'd like to have been. And with CESs, you'll probably hear more at today's meeting. We're going to emphasize participation this year, and we're going to focus on 100% participation in both the Rotary Foundation and our endowment, the Oakland Rotary Endowment. So that's our focus this year. Get more participation, raise a few more dollars with CES's challenge that you'll hear about later today. And I would say CES, interesting, at the beginning of this year, some of the district governors were talking about maybe separating Oakland #3 out of Area 1 because they're such a big club. And because of the leadership of the presidents here, the club said, no, we want to benefit from the expertise and the fellowship that we received, particularly from the Oakland #3 president. So I think that speaks highly of the leadership here at Oakland #3.
It's easy to walk away from all those little clubs, but that's not what you're about. You guys are really and truly here to be Rotarians for all Rotary, not just your own club. And I just applaud you for that. I praise you for that. So thank you.
Well, that was our interest when we were approached about doing something different. We embraced the rest of the clubs in Area 1 and wanted to work with them to do anything that they were interested in as well, which is one of the reasons why when the Uptown Club came to us, Brad Howard came to Allison and Tom, they were our board liaisons to that committee, Community Service Committee, and came to us with this wonderful idea about the mural. And I said, if we can do it all together, whatever we can do together, that's what we want to try to do. That's what we'll work on for us and going forward here. And we'll try to make this a good year, despite the fact you got a terrible president in me.
I don't think that that's true. No. And I want to reach out also to Peter, thank him for all the COVID stuff that he's been doing too. It's just incredible.
Yeah, Peter.
For the district. So thank you, Doc, for all that you do for the district. And I know you got to go, so you got to switch gears so you can get ready for your meeting. By making my comments short, that'll give more reason to applaud. So
yeah.
We don't have to have a half hour of the district governor.
Well, how's it going for you though, with the district governor this year?
I visited almost 2/3 of the clubs now. And,
oh wow!
I've only had one that was in person, and that was because there's only one club that's still meeting in person, and they've been doing it since July. They have this very small club, and they have a big restaurant that has a big patio area.
Mm-hmm.
So there were breakfast clubs. They would meet outdoors.
Wow.
Outdoors, they're keeping all the.
Well, we're still trying to figure out how we can do when the county lets us, when and what we can do, and going back to live meetings. But it's the county's not going to let us for any time soon.
Yeah, a club your size for social distancing, you're gonna need like the Hollywood Bowl or someplace to be big enough to social distance, and that's an issue.
I would imagine that we would still, even though we have an in-person meeting, we would have it virtually as well. So many other people could attend it virtually, and then some other people would be there live.
Yeah, that's what's happening in that club. It was the Gilroy Morning Club, the Gilroy Sunrise Club, which is very small, but they had members who were concerned about going out and legitimately concerned, and they didn't want to leave them behind, so they were streaming their meeting and also having the in-person meeting, so it was done together, and they actually did some very good work with that. They had to work out where do you put the cameras, and you probably got all that stuff worked out, but when it's
well, I'm depending on my AV team. That'd be Sandeepa and Jack and the crew. They have to figure all that out for me when we do try to go back to some semblance of a live meeting or whatever.
So they worked a lot of that out, and they had issues with sound, so they worked all those things out. So they sort of had to experiment through that, but they've gotten it down now to work. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. So. But a lot of things to think about as far as
maybe I ought to check with them. I'll call them and get some advice. If they've been, well, you said it was a small club, but how small are they?
They have about 20 members, and there's about 10 that were actually there when I went in person that day, and then the rest of them were online. So, and that's kind of typical for them. They stay very busy. They're active. They do a lot. They're doing a blood drive in a week or so, a couple of weeks. So they're doing a lot of things still, so they're a good active club.
Well,
they get a lot done.
John Holmgren from our Kinder Prep committee that you heard speak earlier, when he told you about this one that we're going to have right at our club where we normally meet. That's going to be one of the service projects that we're finally starting to try to get some people back. We'll be able to social distance enough with the 10 or so people that come in there to put the kids together. And also with our service project that we're doing with the First Five Club, we'll be putting some of those kids together. We'll try to do it with the social distancing. Whereas Dudley's still on here, he's trying to, President-elect is trying to make sure he gets all of our protocols listed out for any time that we try to do anything in person anymore.
I love the Emancipation Project too that you're doing, because as a police chief, that was one of the issues that we always have. These poor kids that go through the foster care system and then they turn 18 and they're streeted.
Yeah. And
they survive. And there really is difficulty finding help for them. So I love the fact that you're involved in that. I think that's a really, really good project to be involved in.
We're excited about that one as well too. That we not only have community service give them a grant for pieces that they need. But also we're considering them for the big homeless project, as Peter indicated too.
Oh man, if you guys could pull out that homeless one, that's.
We'll see. We're gonna be close. We're gonna work at it. We're trying at least anyway.